up, guys? Goldizzy here to give you a little bit of information on TNA's impact that just went off the air. Give you my review, so to speak. Right off the bat, we see Bischoff talking on the phone, talking to somebody, probably Hogan, I guess, talking about a new talent that's going to make their debut tonight. But we'll get to that later. We then see the Pope come out, make a promo, talk about his big win at Against All Odds, talking about Ric Flair and AJ Styles. He goes to call Ric Flair Dick Flair because he's a dick. I loved it, man. It's so nice to be able to hear some non-PG stuff on wrestling. It was really great. He basically declares that he's going to be the new champ. So of course Flair and AJ have to come out, and they have words back and forth with one another. Really good promo. Flair's really great. The Pope did his thing. AJ, on the other hand, he's not convincing. He's not convincing me with his promo skills. He needs to hang out with Flair a little bit longer to get those promo skills up to par. But he does what he can. Anyways, Ric Flair and AJ beat up on the Pope pretty good, and that's that. We did get to see our first match, Daphne versus Tara. Now, at first the match was pretty decent, but Daphne goes on this weird rampage, ends up hitting Tara with a toolbox, hitting her in the face with a toolbox, then just mowing over her with all kinds of shit, using the security gate, slamming it on her, and then taking a chair and slapping the chair against the security gate with her under that. I mean, it was just pretty brutal. Tara wins that match, anyways, but because by disqualification, obviously. We didn't get to see Foley and Bischoff, and Bischoff says to Foley how he's happy with his performance at Against All Odds, and basically goes on to say, I want your style. You're gonna have a makeover. I want to see a change in your style and whatnot. So he has I guess a seamstress there, and they go on a shopping spree. He basically is getting Foley out of the building so he could do what he really wants to do. We'll get to that in a little bit. We then get to see Samoa Joe and Orlando Jordan. Now the match was pretty good, but Orlando Jordan wins. It's like, wow, really? Against Samoa Joe? So Samoa Joe has 2 back-to-back losses now, or 1 back-to-back loss, I should say. But the match was pretty good. Orlando Jordan's not a shitty wrestler. When he was in the WWF, he was kind of looked at as a shitty wrestler. I guess that's because they didn't know what to do with him, but he does have some skill in the ring. From there, though, we get to see Abyss and Bischoff. Now that Foley's gone, Eric Bischoff can talk to Abyss. And Bischoff's pissed because Bischoff takes out all the frustration on him because no one used the barbed wire bat at Against All Odds. So basically this goes on to say that your mask is coming off. And then we get to see Bischoff talk to Jeff Jarrett. And Bischoff goes to Jeff Jarrett saying how you're going to use this barbed wire bat tonight against Abyss in your guys' match, and if you don't, then your climb to the top of that ladder is going to be very difficult. So we get to see from there we get to see a nice 8-man tag team match. Motor City Machine Guns with Brian Kendrick and Doug Williams taking on Generation Me, Amazing Red, and the surprise return, the guy that Eric Bischoff was talking about at the beginning of the show, Kazarian, a guy I have no idea about because I haven't been watching TNA that long. Match was superb, fantastic, a great way to end the first hour. Fantastic match. Generation Me, Amazing Red, and Kazarian win. Just amazing match. Totally blows me away every time I see those guys together. Then we get to see Jeff Jarrett and Abyss go on against each other. Jarrett wouldn't use the bat. So Bischoff basically comes out with a couple guys from the locker room, like Desmond Wolf, Homicide, Tomko, and they go on to beat up Abyss. Then Hogan comes out, and Hogan basically tells Abyss to get in his damn office. And we then get to see the British Invasion take on Beer Money. Now, the match is okay, pretty good, but Beer Money wins, and we haven't seen Beer Money in a while, so it was good to see them. But it was Rob Terry and Brutus Magnus in the match, representing British Invasion, and Magnus gets pissed at Rob because he's basically saying that since he won the global championship, it's going to his head and all that. And they go to blows with one another, and that was that. So are they breaking up? We don't know. We then get to see Hogan and Abyss. Now this was a pretty good segment. I liked it. Hogan's sick and tired of Abyss and how he's acting like a scaredy cat, how he's acting like a pussy pretty much. And he wants to see him to basically be more of a monster. And Hogan shows him his Hall of Fame ring that he got from the WWE. And he goes on to say how this is my life. You know, I worked 30 plus years to get this ring, and I've destroyed my body, you know, all that, so I could, you know, be where I am today. It was a great promo he was cutting. And he gives his ring to Abyss and says, now you have this ring, now you have my power, you're 10 times more better than Hulk Hogan will ever be. Basically trying to give him words of encouragement to improve himself. And Abyss was fucking going ape shit, man. He was all giddy like a little schoolgirl. And I'm hoping to see him act more like a monster, because ever since I've been watching TNA, Abyss hasn't really been that impressive to me. I mean, I'm sure he was more impressive when he was hanging out with James Mitchell back in those days, but I didn't really watch it back then, so I don't know. All I see is how he is now, which is a scaredy cat, and I've always kind of wondered about that. But anyways, it was a good promo. So hopefully we're going to see Abyss act more demonic, more of a monster. We then get to see Christopher Daniels and Kurt Angle. Very short match. Kurt Angle wins via submission. And then right after that, we get to see a promo. Very heartfelt, very dramatic promo with Kurt Angle going on about how, talking about Anderson and what happened with him. He talks about how his year has just been terrible, or last year that is, with him losing his wife, going through a divorce, getting arrested, looking bad in front of his kids. And he goes on, and he's crying. I mean, it looked pretty legit to me, so I think the promo was pretty real. And he goes on to talk about the dog tags that he was wearing, the dog tags that Anderson used to cut his head open at the match against all odds. And talks about how he went to some military base and how that changed his life, and he got these dog tags. And he goes on to say how when Anderson spit on those dog tags, he spit on the entire United States. And Anderson comes out, cuts a good promo back towards Angle. He's getting some good heat too. And these guys basically end up brawling on the ramp. And Anderson takes the mic and pops it right upside his head where he had the stitches at. Knocks him down. And I mean, it was a good segment. So we had two great back-to-back segments. And then at the very end of the show, we see Nash. He's been wanting to talk to Hall and Six-Pac the whole night. He's basically comes out and says how, 16, 17 years ago, he became friends with these two guys. And, he's tired of carrying them on their back. Or he's tired of carrying them on his back, I should say. And how he's not doing it anymore. And he's with Eric Young. And then they start brawling. Eric Young goes outside, starts beating up Six-Pac. Very nice beat down. And Nash and Hall go to blows. The security comes in, tries to break them up. And they split up each other. And then Hogan comes out and just gives him the stare down. And then it ends the show. I thought it was a pretty good Impact. Very entertaining. Has some great segments. Has some pretty decent matches. The promo at the beginning with the Pope was great. And then Hulk Hogan and Abyss promo was good. And then Kurt Angle and Anderson. That's going to shape up to be a pretty good feud, I think. But overall, I thought it was pretty entertaining. And those are my thoughts on Impact. I guess you could say this is another episode of Impactful. This is Gold Dizzy. Peace out, guys. Have a good